Hello, and welcome back to Kickoff Conversations. This is your host Pranav and co-host Simran. Today, we are really excited to be doing another preview of one of the biggest clashes in the Premier League this coming weekend. We've got Arsenal versus Manchester City. This is by far, I think, this is going to be by far one of the strongest, games in the league. This will define how the league will progress. These two teams are the top two teams that are going to battle it out. I think no other team in the league is up to that
Yes.
mark as of now. So let's get on with it. Today we have Statman Gags presenting Arsenal once again. I'll be happy to bring him on board. Welcome, Gagan. Welcome back.
Hi Pranav, hi Samran.
How does it feel?
Amazing. Always
Yeah, we are
amazing to
this.
be a part of this podcast.
This is a fourth time, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. You're back representing Arsenal and
Third,
Brighton, I
third,
think. Oh, third
third
time.
time,
Third,
I
third.
guess.
This is my third
Third
time.
time,
It's
yes.
a third time. Perfect.
Yeah.
And today we have, a new fan representing Man City. Actually, not a plastic fan, but actually a
Yeah, I was quite
true,
surprised you
true.
said you only. Yeah, I was
I
surprised you found
always
a
exactly,
Manchester City fan. Only a Manchester
ex-
City fan, not a Barcelona fan turned into a City fan.
exactly. And it's very rare to find Man City fans that are not plastic
Yes.
fans nowadays because everyone, because they've been winning lately. कुछ ज़्यादा ही titles जीत लिया अभी तो Champions League जीत लिया, so everyone's like Man City. But I think he's one of those true Man City fans that supported Man City just when, if I'm not if I'm not wrong, I think when the Arabs had come in and started pumping in money, or way before that, we'll come to know. But let me get
Yes.
Emil on stage. Emil, welcome to the podcast. How do you feel?
Thank you guys for the generous introduction. I'm feeling great. Feel like I'm
Yeah,
top of the
so
table. So that's
yeah,
a good feeling. It's
so
always a
tell me
good feeling to
something.
be top of the
Tell me
table.
something,
Yeah.
Emil. I genuinely want to know this, and I think it's a question coming from all the fans. When did you start supporting Man City?
Oh God, this is a question that gets asked around so much. I think it was, of course, after the Alps pumped in money. I'm not that old to have supported Man City from before the Arabs started pumping in money. But I think it was around 2012, 2013 season. I think it was Mancini had come in. Sorry, Mancini was
Okay.
going out and Pellegrini was coming in. And I think I thought
Okay.
Pellegrini was my first Man City manager, and it was pretty bad initially, but I think Pellegrini pulled off. He laid down the foundations as to what City are modern City are today. Mancini, Pellegrini, I think
So,
they're
so
essential.
it was the Aguero moment that kind of caught you.
Definitely. Definitely, and more than the Aguero moment, I think it was a Vincent Company moment for me. I was watching these highlights, and there was a Vincent Company header in the Manchester derby that won them the derby. I think that
Okay, where
was a more
he runs off to
influential
the
factor.
corner and
Exactly,
does
that
that
one,
celebration.
and
Perfect, perfect.
that's an awesome moment.
You know, we're looking forward to a very big clash this weekend. I just wanted to understand. We'll start with ML first. With the recent performances that Man City has, and losing to Wolves very recently at away. So what is your expectation from this game? What do you take back? What do you expect actually from Arsenal versus Man City at the Emirates?
In all honesty, I think uh, City might struggle. City might struggle without Rodri. I think Rodri is key in how City progress with and without the ball, in their offensive transitions, in the way they defend, and even in organizing. Even if a right back goes ahead, it's Rodri who's going to cover that space. If there's anyone who wants to commit forward, Rodri usually has them covered. And I think Rodri's balls over, first few lines of defense is exactly the way Declan Rice plays. It is very essential in the way City plays. And I think we might just miss him. We might just miss him with the quality that Arsenal have in midfield.
Yeah. All right. And Gagan, what do you think? What do you expect from this clash?
See, we beat them in the Community Shield final on penalties, of course. But yeah, that game had a lot of positives. Last we beat them in the league in 2015. So it's been almost 8 years we haven't beaten Man City. So I just feel, yeah, Rodri is going to be a big miss. He's a very important part of that team. He organizes the midfield. He always, wins those tackles, starts those offenses. He knows how to organize the defense. Him and Diaz, they're really good when it comes to defending deep. So yeah, I think I'm obviously rooting for Arsenal, but I'm not going to say City are going to, drop the intensity if Rodri is not there. We all know Rico Lewis. I think he's going to fill in that spot for the Arsenal City game. So yeah, let's
Right.
see.
Perfect.
Okay, so Emil, what player should look? What player do you think will be the most valuable player in this match? Like, who should the fans look closely to in this match?
Um, I think the most, I think right now, if you're looking on form, it's probably Alvarez that people should be keeping an eye on.
Yes,
I think that's a no-brainer with his
true.
performances in his like in past 5 months, outrageous. He started this round with a goal versus Real Madrid, which was a brilliant finish. Haaland
True.
couldn't score versus Real Madrid over two legs. I think Alvarez had 15 minutes and he scored.
Yeah,
So,
matlab ki we did well against Haaland. We knew that if we could, stop crosses coming in his way, we'll be good. So we did that. But we couldn't
exactly.
stop Alvarez. He was unstoppable. He's too good.
Yeah, he's really good. He goes into that
Yeah.
KDB space, although he operates differently to KDB once he's in that space, but they both occupy very good areas. Very similar in terms of, attacking positioning, and but the way each of them carry out their attacks is Alvarez's finish in the Champions League game was
First
just
class. Yes.
beautiful.
Do you
And
Beautiful
think he's
finish.
a little similar to Aguero in that sense?
Um, I think Aguero also started as this, that second striker position kind of a thing at Atletico Madrid. And I think Alvarez, although occupies the same space, is a little different. I think Alvarez has an eye for a pass as well, and he's really good at set pieces. Aguero was never really that clinical in over a free kick. You wouldn't be scared if Aguero was taking over a free kick. Alvarez, I think, at such a young age, he's had two free kicks over the past 3 4 weeks. He's good at set pieces. We've seen that. We've seen that historically. He's
Right.
hit the post once. So I think that maybe sets them apart a little bit. But in terms of finishing, I think yeah, definitely. I mean, even if you ask Alvarez, he's probably looked at Aguero videos.
yeah.
100%.
And Gagan, who is going
100%.
to be the best player for Arsenal?
For Arsenal, it has to be Saka, but again, he's unfit. I think he'll
Okay.
start. If he doesn't start, it's going to be a very big mess. He has got 5 goals, 5 assists this season. So I think if not Saka, it has to be Rice or Odegaard who can do some
Yeah.
magic.
Do you feel any clutch player? Do you feel that there's going to be any clutch player in your squad this time? I
Who
mean,
is going to
any player that
surprise everyone? Yeah.
surprise everyone apart from Odegaard.
Maybe Eddie Nketiah. Maybe he can get us a goal or two.
Yeah,
In
Nketiah
big
can.
games,
Yeah.
he sometimes he steps up. So let's hope.
Yeah.
So Emil, with the injury concerns from either side, do you think any injury per se can influence the outcome of the game?
You mean an injury during the game or like the existing injuries that we have?
Existing injuries that you have.
Existing injuries.
Oh, I think Saka. I think if Saka doesn't start, it's going to be a huge blow for Arsenal. Saka is, I think, he's the Alvarez of Arsenal right now. He's their most informed player. He's their most important player. Essential in the way they function. He drops back, he runs, he attacks, he's got goals, he's got assists. He's so important. And I think if he doesn't start, that's going to be a huge miss for Arsenal. They're going to miss out, definitely.
Yeah, he's one of those key players in the transitional counter attacks. Also, he's very quick on the ball, off the ball
Very
also.
good.
Gagan, what do you think about Man City?
Man City, injury and suspension. Rodri.
Biggest
Without him, that
biggest miss.
midfield, they struggle. So yeah. And in Arsenal, even Martinelli is a big doubt for the game. So if
Right.
Martinelli is also out, we might see Eddie on the wing or Jesus on the wing.
Trossard, maybe.
Maybe Trossard.
I think
Or
Trossard could
Trossard
be a
starts in the
surprise.
center.
Either can play wing, actually. I think all of them
Yeah.
are those left wing, forward type, inside forward type players. They're comfortable anywhere across the country.
But one player I think, from Man City, if he starts, he's going to create a lot of trouble for Arsenal. It's Doku.
Ah, yeah,
If he's
fair
able
enough.
to,
Interesting.
Doku.
Doku might
So,
just.
so you're saying
So
Doku versus it'll probably be what, Ben White? Doku versus Ben White.
yeah,
That's going to be interesting to watch. That's going to be really interesting to watch if Doku starts.
Interesting. I like how these guys are like already going head
Yeah,
to head in terms of the players.
exactly.
Very
Yes.
nice.
So let's start with the obvious question. The most memorable Arsenal versus City clash, Gagan, if you remember, like your most favorite one till date.
favorite one till date.
Yeah.
See, it has to be the Community Shield final, which we won. In
Yeah.
8 years, we didn't beat them. So yeah, this one has to be a very important win for Arsenal.
And
How
Emil?
about
Uh,
you, Emil?
I think my favorite
There are
moment
so
is
many.
Yeah,
Emil is
I was
right
no,
for
about to
but I
choice.
say
have
he has too many options to choose from.
oh, but
He has
I have a very. I think it'll be. It's a famous one. I think it's this was in 2019 or 2020. I think it was the game. It was the 2019-2020 season game at the Etihad. I think it was Kevin De Bruyne with two long range goals,
Oh,
and he
yes.
had another shot which hit the crossbar and went out. I think it hit Leno's fingertips and hit the crossbar. And I think I heard the commentator say, if that went in, that would have been the greatest Premier League hat trick I've ever seen because the outstanding quality. It was great. It was a Kevin De Bruyne masterclass that game. That was a great game.
Yeah, so what are the potential implications of this match, for both teams, given the standings in the league?
How important it
I'll go.
is.
Who's going
Yeah.
first? I'll go first.
Emil, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I think huge game. It's a huge game for both sides. I think it's a huge game for everyone in the top four. Because I think if City win, they obviously it gives them a sense of confidence given their recent drop in standards, if I may. Uh, because that performance against Wolves was not expected. I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming.
But
But
but don't you think it's become it's like it's City always, when they go away to Wolves, it's become a thing where Wolves always dominate that game. I mean, it's been happening consecutively in the past three to four seasons where out of say 6 to 8 games that you've played against Wolves, you've just come off with 3 to 4 wins. They've dominated at home, with Traore running down the lane back then to this guy. I forgot his name. What's that
Jimenez,
Asian's name? No, Jimenez
Wang
scoring
Hee
and
Chan, Wang Hee Chan,
Wahi Cheng, yeah, where he
the
actually
Korean guy.
celebrated in front of the Korean guy.
Korean guy.
The
In fact,
Korean.
he celebrated. He celebrated in front of Pep, to show that you need to remember his name.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I mean, of course, I understand. That there was a dip in form. I think Pep sometimes obviously outdoes himself in terms of there's a lot of
Overthinks.
mind
Yeah.
games. He overthinks games. He overthinks situations. But do you think a game like this with the significance at which you're going to be playing with, do you think it's going to have any implication? Do you think it's going to have a major implication into decide the top four now, or will that take time?
I think Pep is an experienced campaigner in the Premier League, and I think he's not going to be phased by this. And not just Pep. I think if you look at every player in that squad, bar Matthias Nunes, they're an experienced bunch, and they've been in situations like this before. Every season, they're in the same situation wherein you got Arsenal, you got Liverpool, you got someone bringing down their neck. But I don't remember the last time City won the league by a huge margin. Although we know City have been winning the league almost every season now for the past 6 7 years, but it's always been close. No, none of the
Yeah,
other
it's
teams have
been.
ever, let City just be. That's not happened in a long time. That's not happened since 5 years, 6 years. It's been a long time since City have had like 11, 12 point lead and they won the league and they're chilling. It's not happened. It's not happened in the recent seasons. So I think they've been here before. They know what needs to be done, and I think he's just gonna let the players be. But I think that Rodri issue just might cause him to overthink. I mean, I'm overthinking it as a fan, so I don't know what he's probably going through right now. Uh,
Yeah.
so because I don't know if he's going to go with Matthias Nunes as well as Kovacic to play in that position and give Alvarez total freedom. He can either do that, or he can play something like Matthias Nunes as a as a complete as a proper six, as a proper defensive midfielder, and not advancing that much. And then he'll play Bernardo as well as Alvarez as attacking midfielders, or Foden and Alvarez as attacking midfielders. So
Right.
it's going to be difficult to guess the kind of players that are playing and the system he's going to be using, but I think he has a plan.
Yeah, I mean you're right. I think when it comes to winning the title, yes, it's always been a two-legged race, and I think Arsenal have always been breathing down their neck. It's sad to see Arsenal, they being at the top of the table for majority of the league last year, and then bottling it down, and then
Yes.
not able to pull it through. But Gagan, what do you think? Do you think if you manage to win against a team like City now, do you think it's going to have a major significance?
See, of course, it will help us, but it's too early to say.
Right.
There is the Christmas fixtures are left. Then, of course, this is I think the game week 8. This
Post
right?
Christmas
It's 8.
Arsenal, it's always
It's
scary.
The
eight.
game week
Eight.
it's
It's eight.
8, right?
Yeah, game
So
week 8,
many
yeah.
fixtures to go. Of course, this will of course boost our confidence, but it's too early. Too early. And
Do you,
Arsenal, one injury and everything drops. Last season, Saliba got injured and everything went down. We bottled the league, if
yeah,
you want.
I mean, you're missing out on Timber as well, and he's one of
Yeah,
those crucial
exactly.
players, right?
Timber. And for
He's
the City game, Martinelli is a big doubt.
and
Saka might
yeah,
just make
I
it.
mean, right. I mean, but we're losing out on such players. I'm just saying that the curse of the Christmas, for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think this win will give you a major boost. Only if Pep Guardiola manages to overthink the game and
Yeah.
overcook his tactics. If he does so, then I think Arsenal are in a key position to actually
See,
go
for
ahead.
Arsenal, I just feel that some players need to really step up. Kai Havertz needs to start scoring or start creating chances. Last game they gave him a penalty to build his confidence. Then
Right.
Jesus needs to step up. And Nketiah has been pretty low. And then we have Trossard. Trossard has a lot to do now. And
Trossard,
we
I
need
think every time
Saka.
he comes off, he does perform. He does give that 100%.
Yeah, but he
Um,
needs regular game time. He can't be a filler, right? When he came from Brighton, he used to start every game. He had that
he was a
confidence in
captain
him.
for quite a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so since this is a City versus Arsenal match, I cannot skip this question. Like Pep Guardiola versus Arteta. One is the teacher, the other one was the student. So how do you think these two are gonna prepare against each other? Gagan,
So
you
I
go first.
think so. I just feel that Arteta doesn't overthink this one. He usually does this. He manages to win 3 to 4 games, then he tries to rotate the squad, and it all goes down.
He
So I just
is
hope he
Pep's
doesn't do
student
that.
after all, so
Yeah, but it takes a lot of experience. You can't just start doing that in your third or second season in charge.
yeah.
You need to have that consistency. You need to have that depth, which currently we lack. If
Right.
Saka gets injured and he's out for 2 to 3 months, we're gone.
It'll be a huge blow.
Eh, Finishing top 4 will become difficult
Yeah.
because Emil Smith Rowe and Nelson, who are on the bench, they've hardly played any games. So, just asking them to start playing, that'll make things difficult for us.
And Emil, what do you think? How will Pep prepare against Arteta? Like, will there be any more of his overthinking, which will, cost City the game, or will he be, going with
More
the same
conservative, yeah.
mindset? Yeah, that he does.
Um, I'm not really sure about this one. Really, I think I keep going back to this, but we don't have a Rodri replacement. We don't. I mean, Calvin Phillips really hasn't stepped up. And I think not just Pep, any manager would have to consider their options once you lose a player like Rodri like that, not to an injury, but to a suspension, misfortune. If he wants to overthink it, he can. But if he looks at the bright side of things, we have Matthias Nunes, we have Kovacic who can play there. So I mean,
And
there's
for
no
me,
need to overthink. you have Rico Lewis, but I don't think he's going to be interested in such a game of such high quality game, wherein you have players like Odegaard, you have players like Declan Rice. They're way more experienced than Lewis, and I mean he may start Lewis. That maybe is his trump card because Lewis offers something that I think even Pep said none of the other midfielders offer because the way he gets into those positions, those attacking positions, those pockets of space, it was incredible to watch over in the Champions League game as an 18-year-old. It was amazing.
Superb. Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
brilliant. So I don't see the need for him to overthink this, but I think any sort of overthinking would be justified in this
Yeah.
situation when you lose a player like that. In my opinion, the best player in their position in the world. So that's all. That's always going to cause dilemma and problems.
Interesting. So, I just wanted to ask, like, is there any standout uh, statistic or trend, that you guys can provide an insight to the teams, given their, what is the biggest strength or what is the biggest weaknesses?
Weakness.
Um, Gagan.
So for City, their biggest strength is Alvarez. He's created 16 chances this season, more than any other Premier League player. They have Haaland, who's obviously the top scorer in the league. Then talking about Arsenal, Arsenal have Saka, 5+ assists, 5+ goals this season. They have Declan Rice, who has a 97% tackling. So yeah, I feel this should be a fair fight because they don't have Rodri, and Arsenal are missing on Martinelli and Timber.
So do you think, Emil, I wanted to ask, to your previous question also, do you not think that Kovacic may fit the role of Rodri, but do you not think Calvin Phillips, he's a proven Premier League player, right? I know he's not given the time, but do you not think that he could actually fit that position?
If you look at it on paper, he should, right? There's no reason why he shouldn't. But when you look at it, keep the paper aside. You look at the screen, and when you see him play, I don't know. There's just I don't know if it's a confidence issue because we all know how he can play at Leeds with Bielsa. He was balling.
Superb.
He was balling. He was winning balls. He was putting balls. He had such excellent passing range. He was an accurate passer actually for a team that actually had very few passes. In Bielsa's team, you just go from point A to point B in 3 passes. And you're running like 90% of the time you're running. So, and it's similar to Pep. They all follow the same philosophy, right? I do, but I still don't understand why, and what the issue is. So, and if Pep doesn't trust a player like that who we brought in for so much money, then there has to be some issue somewhere. But I fully back the guy. I love him actually, and whenever he comes on, I want him to play well, but it just doesn't happen. And I think he's had a cameo, and he played the game versus Newcastle, and
Right.
he was all right. He was all right. I mean, if you look at fans' reactions, it's completely mixed. But he was okay. But we didn't
Right.
lose because of him or anything else. We just couldn't win because he didn't do anything extraordinary. That's all.
No quadruple this season.
No, we have
Agree
Club
with
World Cup.
Club World Cup, though we also won 2 trophies that season. We also won, but whatever.
No
Let's not
double.
go to Chelsea. Yeah, let's not go to Chelsea.
Okay, so I had another question on strategies, but I guess that question is, very well discussed till now. We have discussed things about strategies and all. So let's dive into, the predictions, starting 11 and combined 11. So
Before
start
before
with the
before we dive
predictions.
before
Yeah.
we dive before we dive into predictions, I know Gagan's been always almost spot on with his predictions, so I'm not gonna go with Gagan first
Yeah.
this time. Because every
Yeah.
time we go first with him,
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
goes with it.
He's always spot on.
He's always
He's spot
right.
on.
So Emil,
No, he
what do you
wasn't
think?
right the last time, no? Were
नहीं
you?
नहीं somebody में he knew
Brighton,
Man United are not.
Brighton versus United. No, he wasn't.
He
He
did.
wasn't
He did
right.
say.
No,
So
no, no.
I'll tell you what. He did say that Brighton are going to lose or it's going to be a draw. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Loki. After the game started and they scored that first goal, he messaged me saying they're gonna legit. He's gonna be like they're gonna screw Man United. तू बस देखते जा अभी क्या
Okay.
होने वाला है. And they
Okay,
went on
but
to
in the
demolish him, I think
podcast,
so.
yeah, in the podcast he didn't say. I asked him also that do you want to go with the 3-1 prediction, and he
Black
said
magic.
no.
Black magic. I think that reverse psychology helped him. So
Yeah.
we'll go with Emil. Emil,
Okay,
what do you
so
think?
yeah, Emil.
I'll go home team first. I mean, this is good. This is something I don't think I'm very good at, especially with the circumstances because both teams have doubtful injuries. We don't know who's starting, who's not. So I think David Raya in goal. That's a pattern which you've seen. I think David Raya is going to be in goal. I think we have Zinchenko as a left back, Saliba,
Yeah.
Gabriel, and I think he'll go with Ben White at right back. I think he'll go with a more conservative back four, with I think Zinchenko dropping into midfield on offense. Uh, in defensive and in midfield, I think we'll have Declan Rice at as defensive midfielder, and we'll have I think Odegaard, and I think we'll go with Havertz. Odegaard and
Havertz
Havertz
Havertz as a false nine.
as a midfielder maybe, but I don't know. Now I'm thinking Fabio Vieira. I'm not sure. But I think we'll go with Havertz because that was my first guess. So Havertz,
Hmm.
Declan Rice, and Odegaard in midfield, and I think a front three of I think Saka will not play. I'm going to assume Saka is going to be on the bench, and because of the injury, and he's going to start Trossard, Nketiah, and Jesus. With I think either of them can play on the wing. To be very frank with you, but I think Trossard will play down the middle.
Gagan, what do you think about
Yes.
Man City then?
Edison in goal. Diaz, Guardiola, and Walker behind. Akanji with maybe with Rico Lewis. That's 3-2. And then Grealish, Alvarez, Foden, and Haaland.
What a team. Bapre. That attacking side is it's one of those most formidable sides to play against. I mean, they'll just keep bombarding. I'm sorry, I've not been watching the City game, but just wanted to ask what happened to Kevin De Bruyne? Like, is he still out since he pulled his ham?
Yeah, he's out.
So this was an initial injury he had in the Champions League final, where he pulled
Right,
out. It was a hammy. He had a hammy issue,
Yeah.
right.
The
and
hamstring
then
issue,
they
the
go on.
hamstring issue, it keeps going on. Like it's
He'll
a
come back
very
in Jan.
yeah, it's a very serious injury. Uh, so yeah, it'll take time.
Yeah, it does. It does. And they made him. They made him. Pep made him play in the Community Shield again, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
true.
was really not fit. Like he was surprised that he started after the game. He said, like, I didn't know I would start, and he started. He was fine in that game, but in the first Premier League game, I think he pulled out in the first 15 minutes. Same
I fear
injury.
the same for Saka. It's the hamstring.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
His
if in the
hamstring
City
injuries.
game something happens, he'll be out for three,
Exactly.
four
He'll be out
months
for many
through
months.
a season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're
But
not going to risk that. I don't think they're going to risk that. I think they're going to bench him
yeah, I
if
think
he's
yeah,
not
even I
fully
think
fit.
Arteta doesn't want to take that chance. I think he'll come on
Because they
60
have the whole
minutes,
season.
60 minutes
Maybe.
Exactly.
onwards. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
But
exactly. Right.
predictions.
As Simran
So
said, they have a lot of the season left. So I don't think there's any need to take the
so
risk.
should we go with the prediction first or should we do the combined 11 first?
some prediction first and then combine 11. Then we'll do the
Okay. So prediction. Emil, you start.
I think 2-1 Man City.
2-1 Man City and Gagan.
away.
2-1 Man City.
But like when you
Uh,
have a team like Manchester
no,
City,
I'm
like
not saying 2-1 Man City. I'm just
Oh, Acha, you're
repeating
surprised
what.
he
you're
said
just
2-1.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I
Only
mean, like when
2-1.
you have a team like City, like 2-1 is, you can be that confident.
See, I think
Mm,
Arsenal wins it 3-2.
Arsenal winning it 3-2 at
5
home.
goal.
I don't know when Gagan says things like this, I'm like, it can happen. It can
Yeah,
happen.
See,
because
It
he'll
can
the
end
come
up
thing
बहुत बढ़िया
happening.
is,
सा बोला हुआ है.
the thing is, who will score 3 for Arsenal? I think it's going to be one of those games where someone just steps up, like Eddie
Yeah.
and Ketia, and he gets a brace out of nowhere. And like the United game, we get a goal in the last minute or
See,
something.
being a Real Madrid fan, I believe it can be done. It can be done. We beat City in 2022 just like that. goals came just like that, and we were in the final. So yeah, it can be done. I am a believer.
See, Emil,
Goals can come in from
I don't
anywhere.
wanna hate on Man City, but Man City's been taking a piss on every team, and this has been happening for quite a while. They've been taking a piss on a lot of Premier League teams and in the Champions League also because of I think the Yaya Toure curse, the African curse or whatnot. I think once that got lifted, you guys won the Champions League.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like the Champions League, we drew against City, and then before the match, there was this post that curse has been lifted, and I'm seeing, and I'm
been
like,
lifted,
shit, we're gonna lose it this time.
and Real Madrid actually went on to
And they
lose because
actually, yeah, they lost. They won against us, and they won the Champions League because otherwise, I don't think so. Like I believe in curses, I guess.
no, I mean you do start thinking about it, but ML, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
Man City are a very strong side, and I think we've seen this happen with the addition of Haaland. They've been absolutely tormenting teams left, right, and center. There's not been one game where you don't see a ruthless attack. I mean, Arsenal does the same.
Wolves
They
game.
can.
There was not a single ruthless attack in that game. They were
Well,
so
I
bad.
mean,
games like these are gonna happen.
it
Like,
happens. It happens.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely. It
very hard.
happens. It's okay.
It's very hard to live, continue that, keep up with that consistency. Also, Pep
Yeah.
really drills his men, and
And I
Arteta has
guess,
learned that.
you have to have these kind of losses. Otherwise, they grow too overconfident and then they lose out the very important matches. You have to lose some non-important matches to, keep them leveled. So that's
Keep
why
them
it's
Yeah,
humble.
like
important for
Arsenal
any
lost
team. Yeah.
their last
For
game.
for any
Absolutely.
team. So you better lose in some games which are not important than lose, a final, a semi-final, or some big game which will decide the entire season. So yeah, that I
We'll wait.
agree.
Oh,
We'll wait till we now. I think the next match is going to be at Etihad, so we'll wait till that, and we'll probably call these two
Yeah.
back again. So
Yeah,
quickly,
yeah, yeah. We have to do that.
let's dive into the combined 11, guys.
Combined 11.
Which keeper are
The
we going
first,
with?
let them discuss
The
the formation, no?
formation,
Yeah, yeah,
formation.
yeah, yeah.
Let's keep it 3-2-3-2.
3-2,
okay.
3-2.
The City formation. We'll be able to fit the stadiums and the
Players
strikers.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goalkeeper, guys. Start with the
Keeper
goalkeeper.
Edison.
Edison.
He's my
Edison.
favorite
Yeah.
keeper. So
Edison.
Edison.
Wow.
For sure.
No debate on that.
Three
Okay,
centre backs.
next.
Yeah.
3 centre backs.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So no room for Kyle Walker. Are we considering Kyle Walker as a centre back in the three other back system?
I mean, you go ahead. If you think he suits the right centre back, then might as well.
I mean, he does play that position when they play the 3-2-3-2.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, there are better options, right? You have Diaz, you have Saliba,
I mean,
you have
options you
Guardiola.
have.
Guardiola, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't even know what the back three among City would be. City itself, a combined 11 is just outrageous.
So that's why we have kept this segment.
This is okay. Can we agree Diaz should be there?
Yeah, Diaz.
Diaz, I agree. Saliba should be there.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we've
Saliba
got
should be
two.
there.
So Saliba, Diaz, and now the right centre.
I think it should be Guardiola. But then there is Akanji, then there's Ake, and then there is Gabriel. Shit was spoiled for
I think that-
again.
I think it's John Stones.
John Stones.
Of course.
John Stones. John Stones.
Yeah.
I
He's
think John
been having
Yeah,
Stones.
John Stones.
Okay,
I think John Stones.
we are done.
Because he's
So
So
we go
quickly.
with we go with John Stones, Ruben Diaz, and Guardiola.
Saliba.
William
No,
Saliba.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
So the two now, the pivot two.
Right?
Rodri,
and
Declan Rice.
Rodri.
We have Rodri, Declan Rice. I think that's nice.
Now the three.
Yeah.
Wow. I think
Odegaard
Saka.
has to be the center.
Oh, you're already saying Odegaard.
Odegaard for center.
I was
Saka
thinking
for
Alvarez.
right, and Alvarez and Haaland can be the strikers.
Okay, you're
Doing
thinking
3-2,
that way.
3-2, so yeah.
I won't
Okay.
even, try for a striker.
I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
I-
Ireland is given, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I think my middle three would be I don't know, Foden, Saka, Uh,
Odegaard.
I like how
mm,
he's like, fuck, I don't want to give up on
I'm
Gill.
contemplating. I really like Odegaard. He's such a great player. It's
He's a
so
very
nice to
smart
watch him
player.
play. He's so graceful to watch as a player. He's a graceful player. I really love that about him.
My
Um,
heart hurts every time we talk about Odegaard. So,
Hang in there, Simran.
but he's
uh,
with Bellingham now, so
See Foden left, Ode center, Saka right, Alvarez and Haaland strikers.
but Foden has been playing that central role and he's doing it well. Uh,
So we can change the
but I think
formation.
Odegaard does play the center better than Foden for sure.
So
I
we
think
have Grealish.
Odegaard, Saka, no, not Grealish. Not Grealish right now. Uh,
No Grealish.
I think Doku. I'll take Doku on the left. Doku on the left, Odegaard on the down the middle, and I think I'll take Saka on the right. Just purely based on
Okay.
form.
Okay.
Then I think
So Doku.
Alvarez and Haaland up front. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I'm
given.
going Doku.
That's given. There's no Gabriel Jesus. There's no room for Gabriel Jesus
No, no.
Nah.
for
There's no
my
room for
money.
this
Gabriel Jesus in
team,
Manchester City. That's the reason.
this combined, this combined 11 is giving me the jitters. It's if
So
they form a team like this, no other team will want to face them. So yeah, it's a
But
pretty
just think
strong
this
about
11.
it. Stones and Rodri are injured, right? If we
Yeah,
had to put two other players over there,
it
Okay,
would be a
considering
problem then, no?
injured players, if I play considering injured players, I'd play Kevin De Bruyne in that midfield middle all
no,
day.
But
I
you
am
but you
saying
did put
if you
Rodri, no?
remove
if you
them,
remove all the
if you
injured
remove
and injured
Injured
Rodri,
players,
players.
yeah.
If you remove Rodri, if you remove who else are you removing?
Stones.
Stones. Stones is back.
Stones.
Stones is back. Bernardo Silva is
Oh, he's
back.
back.
He's
Okay.
back. He's back for this game. Stones and Bernardo Silva are back. So I think in my combined 11, I didn't mention Bernardo Silva. Did I? I think I mentioned Bernardo Silva. I
No,
did,
no,
right? In
no,
one of
no,
the.
no.
No?
You went
But
no,
I
you went with
think.
Doku.
No, but I feel like Bernardo Silva might play with. Sorry, not my combined 11. In my starting 11, I feel like Bernardo Silva might start over Kovacic if because he brings that experience, big game experience. Bernardo has that experience and he has big performances in him. But let's
Right.
see.
But if you remove, supposing if you remove Rodri in the center, who would you put? Or does that space go to any Arsenal player like Declan Rice? I mean, we
I
put
don't
Declan
think
Rice.
they have a replacement for
Yeah, we
Rodri.
did.
City, maybe John Stones can play that role with Rice because if you saw towards the latter end of last season, he used to come into that defensive midfield for the Champions League final, Champions League semi-final versus Real Madrid. He was playing the defensive midfield position with Rodri in the 3-2-3-2.
Right.
Uh, so I think Stones is good, but I think definitely Jorginho or Partey are as good, if not
Partey.
better
Yeah,
in certain
I was
aspects.
just gonna ask, why is there no Partey? Like, why aren't we putting him there? He's such an influential player for Arsenal. Does
That's
all
why
the
I said
dirty
if
True.
work.
we remove the injuries, I was going to say we'll put
Yeah,
Yeah.
Partey.
I
he does
think
all
Partey
the
is
dirty
back.
work.
I think Partey
Yeah,
is
he's
back
back.
for this game.
He's back.
He's back for the game
Might start
versus
also.
City. Also, you say
This
he might
clash.
start with Rice in midfield.
I think he'll go with Rice because Rice is probably more in form as
He
compared to
might go with
Partey.
Rice and Partey.
Either both of them, if they, you can never tell. Arteta will also go with the 3-2-3, two formation, try to restrict the gameplay. I think these two pivotal players will be most influential in that, in that midfield. Partey doing all the dirty work, Declan, gliding past players. We've seen him get when he gets onto that ball and he looks up and he sees Saka making those runs. I think will be absolutely
Yes.
stunning to watch. Man City only if Pep Guardiola doesn't overcook his tactics. I hope he doesn't overthink. Both managers are capable of doing that, and we've seen that happen. It's a very big clash. As fans from the outside, we'll be tuned in. We'll be watching this game, and we
Yeah, we
hope
will be
that
enjoying the game. They will
we'll be.
be,
I'll be sitting with a tub of popcorn. I hope you guys are
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be sitting and being worried. I hope could, both teams don't have any serious or major injuries. I hope
Yeah, exactly.
Saka doesn't
True.
pull his ham, and Alvarez with the form he is in. I think he might get a goal this time out, but you can never tell. I mean, it's the Premier League, right?
You can
Guys,
never tell
it
with Haaland.
was. You can never tell with Haaland. He might just switch on. Knowing the
He
person
always
that he
does. He
is.
always does, though. Yeah.
No, every time he comes back from a loss, he comes back even more aggressive. He comes
Yeah,
back
more
more
hungry.
revengeful.
Yeah.
He's more hungry. He feeds
Haaland
on
reps,
those defenders.
Zlatan and Cristiano. Like, so he has that mentality. When you rep
Yeah,
both
He
Zlatan and
does.
Cristiano, you combine their personalities. So that is Haaland. So yeah.
absolutely. And
True.
he's not shy of farting in a player's face also while waiting for a corner. So he can give his all. But guys, thank you so much for being on this
Yeah.
podcast. Thank you, Emil. It was a joy having you as a Man City fan and a true Man City fan because it's very rare to
Yeah.
find a few.
Thank
Gagan,
you.
it's always been a pleasure having you with us on board, even being representing Arsenal or Brighton for
Brighton.
that instance, because we don't have any Brighton fans in Mumbai and it's very hard to find a couple. But you guys can log off. We'll do the exit.
Cool. Thank you. See you guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Right.
That's it, guys. It was a very, very intuitive podcast. We got to learn a lot about Man City and what Guardiola is capable of doing. So know his prodigy son Arteta and what he's capable of doing. So it's going to be a
Yes.
big, big clash, and we as outsiders, we're going to be sitting with a tub of popcorn, enjoying the game while we see both of these guys. We probably end up messaging these guys, hoping to see how
Yeah.
nerve wracking the game is going to be, and hopefully it's a good outcome. I hope it's not going to be one of those games which is a dull zero
Yeah,
zero
we
draw. I hope
expect too much and then it disappoints us. I want this game to be, full of
we
masala and
more.
spice. Yeah.
Absolutely. I want it to be exciting as well. With that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please, guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. It really helps us. Every subscriber really, really helps us. So it doesn't
Yes.
cost you anything. Just, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell icon, stay tuned to our videos. Sincerely apologize. I wouldn't say we've slacked, but we've
We've
lot on
just
our
been
plate
busy.
going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
We've been busy, Nonetheless, guys, thank you so much. This is your host and co-host Pranav Simran. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.